Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It's a regular board meeting for the Lammersville Unified School District Board of Education. Tonight's December 7th, 2016. I call this meeting to order at 7 p.m. At this time, if everyone would kindly silence your cell phones, and please know that this meeting is being recorded and live streamed. This time I'd like to introduce Principal of Wickland Elementary School, Mr. Gonzalez, who's going to introduce some students to lead us in the pledge.
Good evening, members of the board and Dr. Nicholas. I'm very proud to present Justin Wong, one of our one of our Spelling Bee Award winners, and he's going to lead us all in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. I understand we have a presentation from Wickland.
Yes, we are very pleased to have a short presentation from our associate student body. It looks like we will have both of our co-ASB chairpersons come on up. We have Sasha Foster and Anna Alagas, and they'll share a little bit about what it is we're doing this year with regards to our ASB.
Good evening, board members, everyone in attendance. We're going to give a brief presentation. This was actually done by our ASB students. Wickland Elementary School is home of the Wickland Wildcats, and we're just going to talk about some of the things that we've been doing this year so far. So on behalf of ASB is made up of student leaders. The student leaders are there to set a positive example for their peers. The officers, they meet once a week, and general membership, they meet twice a month.
This year, Wickland participated in the Mountain House High School Homecoming Parade, and we were the game Sorry. We had our students work on, for about a week, decorating our float and coming up with the theme, and even incorporated a song by Justin Bieber into it.
This is ASB. We attended the Castle Leadership Day at Mountain House High School. Castle is a leadership program that helps students become better leaders and then in turn share their expertise to the other students.
This year, we had Red Ribbon Week during the week of October 24th to 28th. We had different activities such as Twin Day, Red Day, Pajama Day, and just other fun activities throughout the week, plus games during recess for the kids to participate in.
We are lucky enough to have intervention and enrichment built into our schedule, so all students from kindergarten to 8th grade participate in intervention. Students work on skills that will help improve MAP and CAF scores. Scholars are in intervention daily for 30 minutes a day. And the students work on skills that they need to improve MAP and CAS scores. So they're actually divided into groups. We looked at the scores from last year's CASP and then also this year MAP. And we were able to help them, smaller groups, and help them work on what they would need to improve.
Spirit Days. So every Friday, students are encouraged, and staff are encouraged to wear either the Wickland gear or black and gold gear, as well as the third Thursday of every month, we have a theme day. This month is our Ugly Sweater Day for staff and students, but we also have other theme days throughout the year, like Pajama Day, Crazy Hair, Crazy Hat Day, College Day, or What I Want to Be When I Grow Up Day.
We're also participating in the food drive. This year, we're fortunate enough to help the Brighter Christmas food drive. This will help families in the Tracy area. And and we just want to say thank you. This is our presentation.
Thank you very much.
You.
Thank you. Appreciate you being here tonight, and thank you for the presentation. At this time, Dr. Nicholas will be coming up and administer the oath of office to our newest board member, Ann Goodrich.
We're going to do it right here, so maybe for photos, you guys can spread. I'll just stand up on that. I do it right in front of the flag.
Okay.
Okay, ready? Clear your voice. So it's right. So I, Ann Goodrich, do solemnly swear
I, Ann Goodrich, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
that I will well and faithfully discharge
that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations.
I just want to thank everyone in the community for all of their support, and I look forward to serving our community, doing the best for the children.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Roll call.
Matthew Balzerini.
Here.
Colin Clements.
Here.
Ann Goodrich.
Here.
Sharon Lampel.
Here.
David Pombo.
Here.
Samantha D. Tiberis.
Here.
Okay, at this time, we're going to have our annual reorganization of the governing board officers, and I am going to exercise my presidential privilege in nominating Mr. Pombo as our board president.
I will second that nomination.
First and a second. Any additional nominations? First and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations, Mr. Pombo. Next, we'll call for nominations for the board clerk.
I would like to nominate Trustee Balzerini.
Second.
First and a second. Any other nominations? We have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And at this time, we'll call for nomination for the representative to the county committee of the district representation. And this is the county board that is currently not in existence, but we're hoping through my efforts with CSB to bring it back this year.
So you're currently in this.
Right now, both trustee Pombo and I have been sharing it.
Are you both interested in continuing to share it? Okay, then I will gladly nominate that the two of you continue and share that position.
Second.
First and a second. Any other nominations? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And lastly, consider approval of appointing Dr. Kirk Nicholas as secretary to the board.
Second.
No,
We need a motion.
you have to move.
Sorry.
You can say so moved if you want.
So moved.
Second.
Lost my head, sorry.
First and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations, Dr. Nicholas.
Thank you. I have pleasure to work for the board. Though I can't speak well right now.
We need to do a little shuffling real quick before we move on.
Oh, I think you should just leave them there. That would be fun.
no real reason to do this, but
To rescind.
approval and/or corrections to the agenda.
There are none.
Move to approve the agenda.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Recognition. District 4th through 9th grade spelling bee winners.
I'd like to invite the board to come down to congratulate our winners, and we'll be asking the students to come up. You're going to get a certificate, and then we're going to ask that you come through and stand over there. We're going to bring you all back collectively and take a group picture. So a couple of weeks ago, we had our district spelling bee, and we had a number of individuals that scored excellently, and 4 participants were passed on from both divisions. It's my pleasure tonight to announce the winners. So what we'd like to do again is have the students come through, and we'll have you stand back over here. Just do what Noel says, and everyone will be safe. All right, first place winner, Yatin Panam. District Spelling Bee 4th through 6th grade division. Jordan Prawira, 2nd place winner. Alberto Mendiola, 3rd place winner. Justin Wang, 4th place winner. In the 7th through 9th grade division, 1st place winner, Avni Singh. Elijah Bakay, 2nd place winner. Bernice Lazada, 3rd place winner. And Arthur Reyes, 4th place winner.
Competition tonight is placed second in the entire county.
Say that again.
Jordan Rivera placed second in the entire county tonight.
If I could have Jordan come here and stand front and center, representing the entire district of Lammersville, and earning a 2nd place finish at the entire county spelling bee is Jordan Prawira. Nice job, buddy.
Who will be representing our county to the state.
And they have a name? And as Kush whispers in my ear, so I'll let everybody in on the secret. We had a student in our 7th and 9th grade division who placed 1st place and will be representing Lammersville Unified at the state competition, Bernice Lozada. Is that you? Okay. So if we can have you right here. Sweet. Okay, if we could have all the students come back up and take a group photo. Every month, something new in Lammersville is posting a number. Kids are doing great.
Now, for committee reports, student trustee Samantha D. Tiberis.
There are no committee reports?
Committees first.
Sorry about that, you're not on any of the committees.
You mean you missed the meeting, Samantha?
I am on the Facilities Use Committee along with trustee Nielsen. We had a meeting in November to work out some of the scheduling issues with various entities that use our facilities. The rest of the meeting was just routine stuff that we take care of routinely. So next is the District Advisory Committee.
Nothing to report at this time, but I've just been told that our first meeting of the year will be January 30th.
And to add a little bit to that, we did speak to, or I did have the opportunity to speak with a representative from the State Board of Education at the CSBA conference, and they were excited to announce that they would be rolling out the new template in March, to which most of the board members in the audience greeted that with, well, it wasn't, like rotten fruit or anything, but we did point out that they were taking all the time and the district staffs had the remaining, 2.5 months in order to prepare the documentation and sign off on it. So I'm sorry to district staff that the state is rolling it out in March. That's ridiculous.
Again.
And I should add, they may roll it out in March.
Yeah.
Yes.
District English Advisory Committee.
So our DLAC meeting on November 15th recognized students for excellence in learning, for earning honor roll, citizenship, and/or Student of the Month awards at all of our schools. The event honored, Mrs. Busuttil gave a short presentation on reclassification and explained that process to the parents, and she also explained the seal of biliteracy that we want our students to attain by the time they graduate high school. So they got really excited. That was the first time they had heard about that. We invited about 40 students, and about 30 of them and their parents showed up, had a nice little dinner, a nice little presentation, and then they had their awards. It was fabulous to see. I've never in my entire career seen that many parents at a DLAC meeting. So yay, Mrs. Busuttil.
And the next DLAC meeting is February 16th, 2017, obviously, at 6:30 in the Altamont Library.
Thank you.
Trustee Nielsen is on the Gate Arts and Music Committee. I'm not sure if staff has any report on that. We'll move on to the Grant Writing Committee.
So the grant writing committee has not met. There's just some emails going back and forth at this point, so there's nothing to report.
The Safety and Crisis Response.
I was unable to attend the last meeting. However, last night, Trustee Pombo and Mr. President, and I attended the Internet Safety and Traffic Safety workshop that Dr. Gill and some of our law enforcement partners put on. Our SRD and CHP were there. It was not very well attended, but very informative, real good information, and I hope to see that continue.
The Wellness Committee met about a month ago, and we worked on various things, nutrition and anti-bullying, and those sorts of things that are ongoing with the committee. And I'm not sure when our next meeting is scheduled. Parents and students, if you'd like to leave at this time, you're welcome to. And now the governing board reports.
Okay, To start off,
Trustee?
oh, okay. To start off my board report, if you're interested in seeing how involved some of the MHHS teachers are, I would recommend searching 2016 MHHS Teacher Dance on YouTube to see their latest dance performance that happened last Friday at the rally. Since I coordinated the performance with the help of a few other people, I could really see, like, during the rehearsals that they really wanted to do it so they could further connect with the students, which I thought that was really nice to see. Secondly, I would like to commend some of my fellow classmates who had felt really strongly for equality and acceptance into society, to the point that they organized a peace rally at the high school in November. The rally was held during a success and lunch period and consisted of 2 speakers with a peace chalk art contest. I really think that the rally helped to promote more positivity on the campus, especially after all the negative feelings that were felt, as you all know, after the election. And then thirdly, I would like to briefly talk about my experience at the CSBA conference. I went to the conference really nervous because I didn't know any of the other students, but I left there with 11 of their contact information. I got 11 of their contact information, and we're continuing to talk. I'm getting more ideas, and we're sharing experiences. So I'm hoping that I can bring more ideas to the board and to my campus to be a better student board member.
Trustee Goodrich?
Well, I don't have a lot to report since I'm really new, but I did attend the CSBA conference last week and got a lot of information about for new board members, and also attended some seminars on hacking and the dangers of the internet storing information out in the cloud, and also some of the threats that school districts are facing through internet hacking and things like that. Some of the electronic threats that are facing districts. Also heard a really interesting presentation about restorative justice programs and how to implement those effectively, and how those have helped reduce suspensions and expulsions in some districts, and that the cost of those programs has been paid for by the increased ADA of the students attending the programs, attending schools. So that looked like a very positive program. And I also learned a lot about construction because we're going to be doing a lot of construction. So that's just a brief overview of some of the things that I learned. But it was a busy time and really informative. So that's what I've done so far.
Trustee Clements?
Well, first and foremost, I wanted to say welcome to Ann Goodrich. It's a pleasure to have you on the board. I'm very excited to work with you. I attended the debate in forensics tournament a couple of weeks ago at Bear Creek High School. I thought the team did really well, and the board has received the emails with all of the places that the debate and forensics team is taking, and I'm really excited to talk about the overnight trip that we will be discussing later on. I did attend the CSBA conference with the entire board, Dr. Nicholas, Samantha, and Noel. Once again, I think it was a really valuable event with numerous learning opportunities, regardless of what level, how many years you've been on the board, and of course, networking opportunities. And then finally, I attended the Lammersville School Foundation's Pancake Breakfast last Sunday. It was a good event. I could never pass up an opportunity to eat and benefit one of our foundations. So that's it for me, Mr. President.
Trustee Lampel?
Like the rest of the board, I attended the CSBA conference. My sessions concentrated on LCAP and its impact on accountability systems and negotiations, teacher evaluations, conducting investigations, and ensuring that our LGB students can thrive in their school environment. The conference also gave the board, including our student board member, the opportunity to bond in a social setting.
Thank you. Trustee Balzerini?
You all know I sit on the CSBA board. I went out a couple days early for our board of directors meeting, and it's rare to have the entire board at the conference. So thank you very much. As has already been stated, it's a real good opportunity for all of us to network and bond and attend some good classes at the conference. I also attended the delegate assembly for a day and a half. We elected some new CSB officers. You guys will be receiving more information about that by email. But overall, another great conference. We also updated some bylaws during the delegate assembly. And Mr. President, something I'd like to request for our next agenda is a discussion or possible action. I know that the Facility Use Committee has been changing over this last year. It's finally starting to kind of plateau. I'd like to discuss and consider with the board potentially changing that committee to more of a facility committee with the focus on looking at some long-term planning for our facilities and potentially allocation of bond funds towards our committee, our facilities at the committee level that can make recommendations to the full board. I know we'll be changing committees here at our next meeting. Something I'd like to discuss. I think that in looking at some other models, while we were at CSBA, it's a lot of districts do it that way, and I think it would be beneficial for us. And that's all I have for my report.
The superintendent and I will include that in the next agenda. My board report, as I was compiling the things that I did, it seems like the last month since our last meeting was a long time ago. I attended the Quest to Dare graduation, a couple of Mustang marching band competitions where they did very well. I helped judge the district spelling bee, the kids that were here earlier getting accolades. I attended the Wellness Committee and the Facilities Use Committee meetings. Also attended the San Joaquin County Annual School Boards Dinner, and also, along with the rest of the board, the CSBA conference, where I went to numerous sessions, President's Workshop, session on building culture and trust, a session along with our new trustee on restorative justice in schools and transforming culture. I went to a session on the board's role in student discipline, a session on leaseback projects, a session on a district that has a wellness center for their students who are having problems in school or at home, where they can go and talk to other students and help navigate through their problems, and one on politics that I thought was very, very enlightening. When we got back from the conference, I attended a Mustang varsity girls basketball game where they thoroughly trounced the competition, and I also attended the Mountain House Christmas Parade and watched our Mountain House Mustang marching band perform superbly as always. And that concludes my...
You're right, it does seem like a long time since the last board meeting, because half the things you said I went to and I totally forgot about them. But I did forget something important that I want people to know about in case they would like to attend. I'm looking forward to going to Lammersville Elementary School tomorrow night to see Alice in Wonderland. So I hope some members of our community will be there as well.
Moving on, receiving of public comments. I have no blue cards, so I'm assuming no one would like to come up and speak at this time. Moving on, consent items for consideration. Approval of governing board meeting minutes, budget revisions and warrants, annual and 5-year developer fee report for fiscal year 2015-2016, approval of contracts under $25,000, TBWB strategic ongoing public information on Measure L not to exceed $15,000, approval of the 2016-2017 hires, acceptance of resignations, approval of updated 2016-2017 fundraisers, acceptance of
donation of $300, $300 Staples gift card from Associated Services Classroom Scholarship Program for Marcy Thomas, Bethany Elementary School. Would anyone like to pull any of these things for discussion, or do we have a motion to?
Move to approve consent items for consideration, but I do have one question, if I can get a second.
I'll second.
On the fundraisers, page 43, what are N as in Nancy, T as in Tom, R as in Robert proposal posters, NTR proposal posters?
They are, it stands for Night to Remember, so it's the winter formal.
Say no more.
Is there any further discussion? Having a first and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Consent items passed. District and administrative reports, Superintendent.
Excuse me. I would like to welcome our new hires. Eleazar Caballero, Title I teacher, Juliana Pickering, School Secretary 1, and Luis Rivera, self-contained classroom teacher. Welcome to our Lammersville family.
Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you, Trustee Lampel. I misstepped.
Oh, I'll correct you. Don't you worry.
I never would have thunk it. Superintendent's report, Dr. Nicholas.
I have three short announcements. First of all, Trustee Clements brought up a Bear Creek High School competition for our speech team. But we also had a special event that happened on December 6th that I was made aware of, which was a unique experience for a specific group of our speech and debate members, which was an all-girl parliamentarians debate. I think that's the right word. Anyways, it was at Notre Dame High School in San Jose, very competitive. Our female students showed up. It was designed to kind of and as an empowerment experience, but also to create an opportunity for students to solve problems, but also challenge each other in a fair and competitive environment on speech making. And we have two students, Julie Trin and Mina Yi, who received highest speaker awards, both in the varsity and novice divisions. All of our teams made the quarterfinals, and our students were so well behaved, and because of poise and because of their good speaking job, that they were invited to be guest judges as well, which is a nice compliment. So with all that said, not only at the spelling bee, but throughout the Bay Area, word on Lammersville Unified and our very talented students is running amok. Second, I want to compliment LTA President Becky Mabus, who I spoke to earlier this evening. We've been working for a few months on a project where teachers at site and district administrators were really doing a study on the best practices of teacher observation and evaluation in a way that everyone gets to reach their potential in a dynamic pro-growth environment. We brought in a gentleman named Ken Futernick. Dr. Futernick is formerly, he's taught at Berkeley. He has written a book. He's a West Coast, former West Ed person, but he also is a preeminent expert on labor and management relationships. So that work is moving forward. I suspect in the January board meeting, we'll be bringing forward action to approve some professional development for our teachers and our principals and district staff. And then finally, I want to compliment Dr. Gill for finding a cat that needed to be herded. It was a backlog of board policy and administrative regulations. So I am proud to announce that in the new year, we will be working on getting rid of that backlog. And the sheet that I have here is a very well-organized means of doing so. So the board will be fed a chunk with very effectively written executive summaries, and we'll do a first read, second read, and get the backlog gotten rid of, but done so in a way that's not overwhelming through the process. So I want to thank Dr. Gill for doing this work. Policy is important, and this will help us out a lot. So with that said, Mr. President, that is my report.
Thank you.
With the exception, sorry, I got so excited about the bureaucratics thing, I lost sight of myself here. I just wanted to announce we were able to procure the 2 speakers we were hoping for our first citizens oversight for Measure L, which will be hosted here in the boardroom 12/14 at 6:30 p.m. We have our architect coming to describe the buildings that we're building at the high school and talk a little bit about some other things. And then we have Julie Wunderlich from Jones Hall, who will be explaining the regulations that go with membership on that committee.
What time was that again?
6:30.
Are those public meetings, Dr. Nicholas?
Correct, and they will be Brown Acted posted. And then finally, a construction update. I am proud to announce that though it doesn't look very pretty, our pool has been gunite, though they call it a different word, but it's the stuff they put on that's hard, that holds water before they put on the pretty stuff. The library, the foundation has been poured. The CTE building, they're putting up the cinder block walls as we speak. So if you drive by and see these large light blue things, those are the things that hold everything in place. And finally, the theater is in major preparation for its foundation pour. They want to get ahead of the rain, but things are moving along nicely on our Mountain House High School completion project.
Your command of technical jargon amazes me, Superintendent Nicholas. Enrollment report, Dr. Nicholas.
I'm also proud to announce that we have broke our own population record again of 4,575 students. We are continuing a pattern of approximately 14 to 16 new students every month.
I have a couple of comments on the enrollment report. First of all, I want the public to know that we do have 138 students transferring out to other districts, but we have 196 coming in. So the interdistricts in far outweigh the interdistricts out. I did have a question about the high school enrollment seems to be dropping a little bit. So could we have a report at the next board meeting that shows the students who are disenrolling, why? Are they being homeschooled? Are they going to another district? Are they going to an alternative program placement? So if we could just get a kind of an overview of why that enrollment's dropping.
Yes.
Thank you.
District Maintenance and Operations Report, Mr. LeGrand. Nice tie, sir.
I was going to say the tie's
Mr. President,
back.
what's that?
The tie is back.
Yes, thank you. I'm trying to do every other one, just for the record. So I'm happy to report that the Christmas season came early to M&O department. We found out last week that the Cal Recycle grant, you guys passed a resolution last month, we were approved. So $87,700 and some change coming into district for the Lammersville playground project. Irene and I met yesterday. We selected the equipment. We're bringing the PO to you guys in January for approval. So that's moving forward. That's good news. I also received notice that we received approximately $70,000 additional Prop 39 funds than we expected. So again, more money coming in the district. And we ran into a little snag at Cuesta with the thermostats. The new thermostats won't really work with the unit, so we're going to back that out of the project. It'll be another additional, $20,000. So we have about $98,000 of additional money to spend. So that's good. And then the construction meeting today, I was there with Kirk. One thing, I'll add one thing to his report. The tennis courts are essentially complete. There's a little bit of fencing due. They will be turned over to the district in the middle of January. And so they'll be ready to go for the spring tennis season. So that's good news. And that concludes my report. I'll answer any questions.
The Cal grant that was approved?
Cal Recycle grant, yes.
Yes. Is that for all facilities?
It's for Lammersville Elementary.
Lammersville Elementary, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's for the playground fall material.
Perfect.
So.
I'm not quite sure I understand what your comment on the thermostats at Cuesta.
Mm-hmm.
We were replacing them, and what we were replacing
So
them
we were
with?
replacing the thermostats at Bethany, Wickland, Cuesta, and Lammersville. The units at Cuesta, the thermostats built directly into the unit. We were trying to find a way to jerry-rig it to work with a new thermostat. It's not going to work. We'll just continue to use existing thermostats. We do have access to that EMS system at Cuesta. We don't have access at the other sites. We didn't have access to the other sites.
So we will have control over the HVAC systems there, so it's not that big a deal. And we'll just take that money and repurpose it somewhere else in the district.
Thanks.
So like I said, probably around $95,000 additional work we get done for free from the state, so.
Great, thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Food service report. Director Hill.
Good evening.
Good evening.
On my way here, I was really excited. I was eating dinner and I saw a news clip about 30 seconds long on food service in California and how over 90% of the districts are complying and serving good food. And I was really excited to see some positive information in the news instead of bad stuff about school lunch. Really quick before I take any questions about the financial report, I was really excited to be asked by the nutrition teacher to teach their classes about how to put together a school menu. And the kids had a culminating project to put together their own menu for 5 days. And they invited me back to see their presentations, and there's a couple of recipes we're going to look at and see if we can't include them in our menus. But the kids had some good insight and some good information, and I was really excited to be in their classrooms. Financially, we look like we're doing really well. I don't know if there's any questions regarding the financial report, but we continue in November to also, even though it's a short month, we have full pay, we're still running in the black. So I'm really excited about that. I'll take any questions if you have any.
Questions?
No questions, just a comment.
Sure.
Well done.
Thank you.
Wasn't that long ago that we were in the red and we're having some significant issues, and you've turned it all around. So excellent work.
Thank you.
Same comment, except also a comment that I've eaten the school lunch at, I think, all of the schools except for Bethany and Altamont, and it's always really good.
Wonderful.
So thank you.
Thank you. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Action items. Consider approval of 2016-2017 intra-district transfer request.
I'll move for approval of the 2016-17 intra-district transfer request as presented.
Second.
Staff report.
None.
Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item B, consider approval of first interim financial report for the 2016-2017 school year.
If I could make a comment, for those of you that have not looked at the full packet, this report starts on page 50 and ends on page 201. Just a little bit of work there, Alvina?
Just a little, yes.
Alvina, what's the fatal error on page 195?
Let's see. I know that.
I'm kidding.
Well, I was going to tell you there's two things that show up as fatal errors. The cash flow report, because we use a separate Excel spreadsheet and not the state, so it'll kick out. And then usually the other one has to, okay, I'm stopping. I'm getting that look. We're good. They're usually because we're using alternative means for.
That was my joking way of saying, well done. Thank you very much for all the hard work.
Very good work.
If I can indulge the board, sometimes I'll ask her like, hey, Alvina, what's the number that goes with, teriyaki chicken in the Lammersville kitchen? And she'll go, 14695.
It's 135310, and I can keep on going until I get the whole string out. I bet Bernie can do the cafeteria numbers though now too, right? It truly is a language, and it truly takes some time. And sometimes we see people that pick it up quickly, and sometimes people struggle with it. But I enjoy it. Sorry, but I do.
You are
See,
a
Bernie does.
unique breed.
I know.
Hey now. Hey now.
I'm told I'm Rain Man with these numbers.
I lost my place, Mr. President. Do we have a motion on that?
I don't believe
Not
we
yet.
do.
Move to approve the first interim financial report for 2016-2017 school year.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item C, consider approval of the 2016-17 Facilities Use Rental Handbook Amendment 1. Staff report?
I will defer to Alvina or membership of the Facilities Use Committee on this.
I will do it. So there were very minor changes. One of them that the cost for renting the quad area, because we do have organizations that want to rent the middle of Wickland or over at Bethany, and then there's a need for use of a bathroom. And then the other one was just adding the word quad to the check-in, check-out form. Obviously, that we need to make sure that all the trash is disposed of. And those are the only two minor changes.
Move to approve the 2016-2017 Facility Use Rental Handbook Amendment Number 1.
I'll second.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item C, consider approval of overnight field trip for Mountain House High School seniors. Staff report?
Other than this is just another field trip that we do in the formal approval process.
I'll move to approve the overnight field trip for Mountain House High School seniors.
Second.
Are there any comments or questions before we vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consider approval overnight field trip for Mountain House High School speech and debate competition. Report?
Same thing.
Move to approve the overnight field trip for Mountain House High School speech and debate competition.
I'll second.
Questions or comments before we vote?
I do have a comment. I remember being in high school in Oklahoma and flying to Berkeley to go to this tournament as a high school student. And I still, somewhere in my memorabilia, have the chalice First Speaker Berkeleyan that you get for being the best speaker at Berkeley that year. And I'm really hoping that they still have that chalice that they give out every year, and B, that we bring it home here.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item F, consider approval of contracting a school counselor with an outside agency. ProCare Therapy, Inc., $46,126.08.
So this is, again, services we can't provide, and we're reaching out to the outside agencies to help fulfill this need.
Yet another example of a shortfall of qualified applicants in the public school sector. Just my little message to Sacramento.
Move to approve contracting a school counselor with an outside agency, ProCare Therapy, Inc., $46,126.08.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item G, consider approval of variable term waiver for administrative employee Corinne Pacheco at Altamont. Staff report?
This is in the confidential packet, but it allows us to resolve a credentialing issue till it resolves itself.
And I'll just add that these type of issues are very common when teachers try to change states, because California has a very unique definition of the word reciprocity. Been there, done that.
Among other unique things about our state.
Yes. So I will move for approval. Lost my place. Where am I? Approval of the variable term waiver for administrative employee Corinne Pacheco at Altamont Elementary School.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consider approval of, item H, consider approval of revised substitute teacher salary schedule effective 9/2016. Staff report.
So this is a very small group of substitutes who fall into a category of being able to sub for more than 30 days called TPSL. So we're recommending upping their pay allows us to be competitive.
Good move.
I move that we approve the revised substitute teacher salary schedule effective 9/2016.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Information and discussion items. Overnight field trips for Mountain House High School Western Band Association Class Championship. Staff report.
Yeah, I put this on here to just correct the record. We had an approval for the kids would drive up and then drive back and drive up and drive back. And then after it was too late to get it formally approved, we approved them to stay overnight to avoid all the driving. But I wanted to put it forward to correct the record. I also want to thank Mr. Faubert of working with staff, making it clear that these kind of things need to be thought through and following the process and procedures always make it better and not have to come back and make these kind of record amendments.
With permission, Mr. President, this board's extremely hands-on, and we have, I think, have demonstrated that we go above and beyond requiring documentation to make sure these kinds of things don't happen. So we don't want these kinds of things to happen. Enough said. Thank you, sir.
Item B, board policy and administrative regulation updates.
In my enthusiasm for my superintendent's report, I already talked about this, but again, I'll go back to Dr. Gill's spreadsheet here. We'll be bringing that forward to you incrementally over the next few months.
Do you have a limit on a number per board meeting? Because these things take a lot of time to study and digest and...
I'm going to suggest that there are going to be less than 10, and in many cases around, I don't have an exact number, but like 7.
That's high.
Do we know how many are state mandates?
Dr. Gill, can you step to the podium and answer that question, please?
Mandates that the board doesn't have any discretion over, I guess is what I should say.
Most of them are mandates from the state because they are based on laws and CSPA recommendations. None of them, except the one that we are looking at, is independent study. That one is the only one that we'll be bringing forward on our own. Rest of these are CSPA recommended based on the new laws. Unfortunately, these are from last October, so we are kind of catching up from last October. We promise that in future we will stay on top of them.
It's okay, mine at work from last October too.
The only thing is, we're catching up from last October until May of 2016. So then we'll be catching from May of 2016 until the end of the school year, because these will go from now until the end of the school year.
Yeah.
But we will make sure that we will also give you a summary. Many of them are like only a few sentences or a couple of sentences being added. They will be added like in a different color ink. So you will not be looking at the entire board policy, entire AR. You will just only be looking at that specific sentence, just to kind of help.
In the summary, but we will get the whole policy.
You will get the whole policy, so you'll get 2 different things. You'll get a summary, but in the board policy also, you will actually, that will be highlighted in different color, so you'll only be looking at that little piece, not the entire thing. Just to kind of help.
The whole thing.
I'm trying to make you feel better.
I know.
There is no other way to make you feel better.
Thank you.
But I'm understanding we will get the entire policy so that we can look
Right.
at the addition or
Correct.
change
That's
in
correct.
context.
Correct.
Thank you.
We can be bribed with that, yes.
Item C, high school graduation and K-8 promotion ceremonies.
We'll have Dr. Gill come back. When we added the high school, what I'd like to say before she presents this information is it's important to keep track of K-8's promotion ceremonies versus a high school graduation ceremony, and the priority of how we view that. And as we set these things in motion historically, So they have a recommendation tonight that Dr. Gill will speak to, but in the next year, this year, if not next year, we have to set something in stone that will become the tradition. But this is a bit of a change.
So good evening, Governing Board, Mr. President, Dr. Nicholas. So one of the requests actually has been from the high school. So everything else stays the same from K-8's perspective. High school's request is they would also like to do their graduation on the last day of school because of many different reasons, especially because of staff's request, because staff, especially teachers, are not officially working on the next day after their contract day if we have them come on after May 26th. So usually K-8 promotions last about an hour 15 minutes max. So our proposal is that we hold the K-8 promotions at 5:30. I have checked with every single principal at the K-8 level, and then high school promotion graduation, which will be held outside this coming year. Hopefully it will not be windy. And we're proposing it to be held at 7:30. High school staff has promised us that anybody, which will be most of us who will be coming from K-8 schools, they will actually hold parking lots spots for us. So in the front, so all we have to do is go there, park our cars right in the front, or give them to Mr. Ferreira so he can park them for us, and then just go and smile. They promised us that.
I think having Principal Faubert valet the cars is an excellent plan.
He has to do that for us, right?
I want to see
For
him
the
move
board.
somebody's Mini.
The K-8 schools, what time are they currently?
Typically either 6 or 6:30. So most of them do hold them at 6 o'clock, except once in a while somebody might have them 6:30. So it's a difference of half an hour or so.
I like this because you could have a family with a student being promoted from 8th grade, which they do see as graduations. We know legally they're not graduations. And also have a student at the high school and are bringing people in from out of town. So I personally think having them on the same night is a really good idea.
I'm just concerned about a 5:30 start. Seems kind of early for people that are commuting. I hate to see someone miss their student's promotion ceremony because they do think it's as important as graduation. That's, I'd rather see us plan around parents instead of trying to accommodate staff. Or the board for that matter.
That was brought up. That concern was brought up by one of the school sites. Other school sites also mentioned that most parents, because they're so excited about their kids' promotions, because there's no way, even if they leave Bay Area at 4 o'clock, that they can be here by 6 o'clock anyway. So most of them do take a couple hours off early anyway. So it's not going to make that big of a difference because the majority of the parents whose kids are promoting do have to leave their work early regardless, even for 6 o'clock promotion. So it was brought up by one of the school sites, but overall they said it wouldn't really make a huge difference to parents or students or to the school sites.
So is the plan to do the high school graduation on the field?
Correct. We wouldn't be able to fit everybody inside the cafeteria, inside the gym.
It was kind of full with 47 graduates last year.
Yes, it was. Any other questions?
Thank you, Dr. Gill.
Thank you very much.
Sure, thank you.
CSB Delegate Assembly, call for nominations.
I'll defer to CSBA Director Balzerini to explain this process.
The Delegate Assembly it comes up in April is when we elect new folks to Delegate Assembly and they take office at the meeting in May. The minimum requirement is that you attend the 2 meetings, May and then prior to the conference. However, the directors hold additional meetings and there's lots of lobbying efforts at the state level. I'm trying to look right now. I just pulled up to see how many vacancies we're going to have. San Joaquin County is considered Region 8A, and there are 8 delegates. 2 of them are actually appointed. So So 6 delegates, and there'll be 3 positions available this year. We've had some years where no one runs and the director has to appoint, and we've had other years where you get multiple people. If you want more information, I'm more than happy to provide it. I have lots of documentation, but it's available to anyone. Yeah, when you run, you get a vote by every board within the county, within the sub-region 8A. So everyone within San Joaquin County. So, any questions? And nominations, do you know when they're due? January? Oh, January, I think it's January 7th, January 9th, something like that. 7th? Okay.
Thank you, Trustee Balzerini.
And do we have to take a vote for that nomination, or people nominate themselves? How does this work?
It's a nomination of a board, of any board, I believe. Let me double check that. That's director at large, actually. I don't know if you have to be nominated by board or not. I think it's just an application process for delegate.
Okay.
But I will double check on that and let you know. It's all in the packet? Okay.
Thank you. First reading of private world foreign language instruction for high school credit, board policy and administrative regulation 6142.2.
I'd like to ask Mr. Faubert to come up and explain this and frankly the E and F on the discussion items.
So I wanted to come talk to you about the current board policy that we have and an opportunity to add an administrative regulation that will assist a lot of our students with some issues that we're having with private world and foreign language instruction, and kind of educate you as to what's going on now and where we can move to assist our students and offer more opportunities for world languages to be taught and credit to be received for those courses within our district. So first of all, our district currently offers French and Spanish in a face-to-face environment at the high school. Spanish is offered through year 4 this year, and we plan on offering AP Spanish Language and Culture in the near future. Currently, French is offered through level 3, and it'll take another probably additional year to offer the AP Spanish 4 courses. And in the recent past, we've attempted to offer Mandarin, ASL, and Japanese, and we've had enrollment of students in those courses, but it's really hard to find credentialed teachers who are willing to take one section of a language at a high school. They want to take over a whole program that has a full 5 periods, which is really difficult to do in one fell swoop. You have to have somebody who's willing to start with 1 or 2 sections and build the program as they go. And then typically what my experience has been in other districts is when that person decides to leave, the program bottoms out. You can't find another teacher to teach us some of these other languages. So it's been difficult to do that. And so we've been prevented from offering all of the kinds of language courses that we would have wanted to. So there are some current alternative options for language instruction. Delta College offers, I believe, ASL and a couple of other languages. They're night courses that kids would have to take. There are online courses through like BYU Independent Study and Apex Learning. They're A to G approved courses, but they're online courses. We, with our French program, couldn't find a French teacher last year, and so we had an online program that was good enough, but not like a true face-to-face learning to speak a language. It was more functional literacy in another language. And so there are options. There are A to G eligible options. Kids can take them, and we accept those credits onto our transcripts upon completion when they provide a transcript from these other organizations. However, there are other options that we may have, and these are future opportunities that can be offered through private language academies and programs. And According to the California State Education Code, students who take courses of study in world languages offered through non-accredited private language schools or programs can be given credit for those programs. And given our diverse community and the opportunities that our students already access through multiple private language schools and programs, creating policy and procedure to accept these courses would greatly benefit our students. And we are aware of several students already at Mountain House High School who have completed language programs in private courses in Tamil, Hindi, Japanese, and Mandarin. So let me just go through really quickly what the law says so that you understand exactly where this lies. So this is a quote from the California Education Code. Essentially states that California schools are authorized and required, actually, to give credit to high school students who take courses in private schools as long as the course meets standards equivalent to students who take classes in the public school environment. So that's the Ed Code. The California Code of Regulations also has some specific things that actually go right along with what the Education Code says. And I pulled out, this isn't a quote, this is a summary of the 3 essential criteria that the Code of Regulations states, which is 1, the student has to be enrolled or will be enrolled in our public school district. Then the parent or guardian makes a request for credit to be given for the courses completed in the private program or school and provides a transcript or document of completion for those courses in that program. And the third is that the principal of the school can verify the instruction received in the private program is comparable, again, to the work in the public school foreign language courses, which is very similar to what the Education Code states. And the final part of this is UC eligibility. What does the UC say about putting credits on our transcript from a non-accredited private program that students have completed? So UC actually does affirm that high school principals have the authority to place these credits on the transcript, as long as the curriculum engaged in meets similar criteria to the college preparatory courses offered at the high school. So again, the Ed Code, the California Code of Regulations, and the UC Guide, the section on principal certification of courses, allows us to do that. In fact, the California UC system guarantees that principals can certify any course, not just foreign languages, but any course from a non-accredited school can be certified by a high school principal. So, recommendations. In your packet is an amended board policy. I think that there's one little section in that board policy that's been changed to include some language about allowing us to provide credit for foreign language courses taken in private schools and programs in accordance to the Education Code and the California Code of Regulations and the UC Guide. And then also to establish a new administrative regulation that's also included in your packet to address what we need to do. And what we need to do is we need to establish procedure for students to apply for the credit after they've completed the coursework, and a procedure that the district can use to verify the coursework from the private school is equivalent to the coursework they're taking at the high school. What we've done for that in the administrative regulation is the procedure for approving that those are similar to the coursework engaged in the high school is we went to the UC Guide, and the actual application that we have to provide to the UC with units of study, the assessments that are given to kids, the assignments that are given to them in each of the units. So it's the exact same application essentially, where the private school, it's on the private school to prove to us so that we're not going out and spending staff time and effort to be able to see, oh, is this organization approved? They have to do the same thing that we essentially do for the UCs, prove that their courses are similar to what students do at the high school, and then we review that on a yearly basis, and then in the administrative regulation it shows that a yearly report would be made to the board about which private schools and programs have been accepted, and private schools and programs would then be notified at the end of each year to either update or let us know that they haven't made any changes to continue their eligibility for students to receive credit in our district through their program. So that's all I have. Questions?
I have a question. I think this is a great idea to open doors for our students of things that we can't offer yet. But I'm wondering, are there other curricular areas that we may need to expand policy language to allow similar credit from the outside?
Right. And like I said earlier, there's a possibility to do that. The possibility already exists there to do so. So I don't know that this is specific to world language because we have a world language policy already. I would say yes. I mean, we currently can do it already. We already have the authority to do that as a district and as a school. We could extend that to other areas as well.
What area would you see would be the next as far as need?
I wouldn't even know.
Okay.
I mean, it would have to come as a request from a student. So part of this is students who come from outside of the state have engaged in coursework that's not UC approved. So if they come from New York and they give us a transcript from their high school for their freshman and sophomore years, we already certify that work is college preparatory just by verifying with the other school, is this similar to what kids are doing? So we're on a regular basis already verifying that coursework is happening in that way. So
I have a question. So the students who want to take another course would be given a list of approved schools that they could choose from?
we could maintain a list, but typically what happens is a parent will come to us and say, my child's taking language courses through the California Tamil Academy.
Okay.
Will you will you certify these classes for us? And we say, well, if it's not already approved, give this to the California Tamil Academy, have them fill it out. We'll review whether it's similar to what we do here, and then we will let them know that yes, it's approved. So this is actually based off of work that has already been done in the Bay Area. Fremont Unified does this, Pleasanton Unified does this. They accept credits from outside language academies as well in the same way. We want to make sure, especially with language academies. So the issue with language academies and schools is they're typically not necessarily a school. Right, it's a program that's being run.
Right.
Sometimes a private somebody's own private company that they've started, and it's a couple of people who are teaching these courses. And so it's unlike other programs like Trustee Lampell is saying, where kids might have taken courses at a non-accredited school. Right. These are less likely actual schools. For example, the CACC, which is a Mandarin program in the Tri-Valley area, who runs their program by renting space at the high school in Pleasanton on the weekends, and the kids go Saturdays and Sundays and learn Mandarin, and then they receive credit through the districts by submitting requests for credit.
Okay.
The title of this item started with private world. Was that reference to private schools? Didn't understand that.
World/foreign language.
Oh,
yes.
private world. Got
private world/foreign language.
Got it.
The language for that, it depends on what you're reading. Some documents will say world language and other documents say foreign language.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
For world language is the more
slash in
modern
the
way
wrong
to say
context.
it. It's like CTE as opposed to voc ed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Further questions? Thank you, Principal Faubert.
And I have the next item as well, so. Open that.
Welcome, President Faubert. Principal Faubert.
I'd just like to say I'd do an excellent job at being president if I were there, and it would be excellent and wonderful.
You would make a huge president.
I would be huge.
You'd build a wall and make Tracy pay for it?
Okay. All right. So our alternative education plan, we currently have an alternative education plan in the district. Let me open my notes here. Excuse me. So as we continue to improve upon the educational programs in the Lammersville Unified School District, we hope to continue building on the strong foundation that we already have and the guiding principles of the strategic plan and the guiding mission and values and documents that have been established. And in an effort to develop a comprehensive alternative education plan, we have integrated our existing credit recovery pathway and summer school programs with our new plans for online learning and hybrid education. We discussed some of this last year. We ran out of time essentially to get it onto the docket for this this current school year, and so the plans for the credit recovery pathway and the summer school program have not changed. So the document you got, those two parts of it were just incorporated with the others. Those two programs actually focus on students who need to recover credits after failing courses or to improve grades in courses where students have received a D grade to become UC College eligible. So the new online and hybrid pathways are alternative forms of credit acquisition, and we hope to be able to provide them in our district. And so this presentation will focus on explaining those two new pathway possibilities, which are actually one pathway that's kind of two different things, and how they can benefit students at Mountain House High School and in our district. The online and hybrid pathway seeks to provide alternative education pathways to students who are seeking first-time credit, not credit recovery, for courses needed for high school graduation and UC College acceptance. And the need for these programs have become apparent in our district for a number of reasons that we're going to explore. So why online hybrid and who is our target population? There's a number of reasons why. First, there's quite a few individuals in our community and in the surrounding communities who've decided to homeschool their students for one reason or another. Or put them into online charter schools. And we have the opportunity to provide a similar kind of program through our own high school. The benefit of participating in a program at Mountain House High School as opposed to what they may be involved in now is that those students involved in the program would become actual students at Mountain House High School and would have access to participate in the extra and co-curricular activities that all other students in our school participate in without actually having to come to school every day. And a lot of those online and homeschool and charter programs don't have access to the social aspects of a brick and mortar high school. So the next reason is because we're a one high school district. It can sometimes be difficult to offer the array of courses that might be offered in other schools, and the hybrid program will allow us to offer elective programs that we might not be able to offer otherwise in an online format. Our location can often make it difficult, for example, like we were talking about, to offer world language courses that students want, specialized business courses, science and humanities courses. And we can offer that opportunity in both the fully online program and in hybrid format. And then finally, an online and hybrid program can create opportunities for students to have flexible schedules, where students can take some courses online to fit in work experience, internships, community college courses, and other educational, athletic, and work-based opportunities available through private programs in the community and beyond. Districts across the nation are starting to implement these programs in their districts. And it's time that I believe that Lammersville kind of get into the game here. So the characteristics of the online and hybrid program in the report that you have there, the program synopsis you have there, it's a rigorous curriculum. It's UC A to G approved through the online provider that we've selected in our district. It will be supported by highly qualified teachers, which is another difference in many online programs. They don't have ready access face-to-face to teachers, but we do. It will be overseen by the coordinator of alternative education, and students involved, again, have full access to co-curricular and extracurricular activities, and some of those things are listed there. In order to enroll in the online and hybrid program, the first thing that would happen is students would participate in a self-assessment. A lot of kids think that being in online courses means I get to just do nothing and maybe do a little bit of work each week. They don't understand that an online class takes about the same amount of time that it would take for a face-to-face class. It's just that they get to move through it at their own pace and in their own time and in their jammies sometimes. And so you'll see some of the questions on there. Are you willing to and be able to dedicate 5 hours per week per course? Are you comfortable communicating electronically, able to manage your time effectively and complete assessments on time? So students would engage in a self-assessment, and that self-assessment, students would need to answer 8 of 10 of those questions correctly in order to be really strong candidate. Any less than that would be questionable. Once they've gone through that, they would engage in a parent and student interview with the coordinator to further talk about the expectations, and then would sign an online learning master agreement that basically they agree to participate in the program. They understand what would happen, they would get exited from the program if they did not meet expectations, and then they would be enrolled in courses. Now, a fully online program, students would be accounted for by using independent study calculations for ADA, which means instead of seat time, students are kept track of through work completion. So that work completion, and I'll go on to some of the online program administrative details. So they're accounted for as independent study students. The full ADA is obtained for each student through independent study contracts. They meet with a coordinator on a 4-week basis to provide work samples and determine the workload over the next 4 weeks. And the first cohort would likely be about 40 students. And so the other thing is with an online program like this, because most of the work is self-graded through the online program, one teacher can facilitate more than a typical 32-student class would. One of the caveats to this is because it's a pathway in our school right now, only 10% of the school's total enrollment can be placed in the online program at any one given time. If it were to go over that, which it likely could sometime in the future, it would necessitate actually starting a new online school in our district. It would be a separate online high school, which many districts actually do, to allow students to continue to participate. And then the last part of it is highly qualified teachers in each subject area would be paid on an hourly basis to offer ongoing support to students who need assistance in those areas, which again isn't always the case in some of the online programs, at least in a face-to-face format.
You mentioned the possibility of starting an online school. Would those students, I'm assuming it would be set up such that those students could still be fully involved in extracurriculars and those sorts of things?
If you start a separate school, they cannot participate in those programs. So if we were to set up in a separate school, we would have to determine which students who are not interested in participating in sports and extracurricular activities, and possibly establish other extracurricular activities for that school for students to participate in. So
then starting a separate school would then have 2 online systems?
Yes, so the comprehensive high school would have an online component that no more than 10% of our student population can participate in, and the other school would be the overflow or the students who were not interested in participating in those activities. That would be down the road, I think. If the program is successful, I mean, a lot of these programs in districts become successful and you get a lot of interest in students wanting to participate. And it's a way that some districts actually gain a lot of ADA and kids transfer in. The law in the state of California allows our district, if we establish a program like this, to accept students from any county that touches ours. And so into our online programs. So that's kind of the rule of thumb. And that would be if we had a standalone school. Because we are making this program right now a part of the comprehensive high school, that rule doesn't apply. It applies if we had a standalone school. It would be anybody who touches our county. But anybody who wants to transfer into our district could take advantage of this program up to the 10%. So I believe this is the last slide. So there's some future opportunities for the online program. It allows us to recapture ADA from a lot of students who may currently be engaged in homeschool and online and charter programs elsewhere. It can draw students from outside the district into our programs. It provides alternative learning environments for students who don't like to participate in the traditional face-to-face opportunities. There are also future opportunities. We've talked in PLC a little bit recently about providing opportunities for students in the K-8 realm to also participate in homeschooling, independent study type of online activities. So that's a possibility as we move forward in the future. And then also offers, especially in the hybrid program, an opportunity for students to to advance and enrich with coursework that we can't offer ourselves. With A to G, UC approved coursework in all kinds of different things that are available online to us, including languages, including classes in the humanities and the sciences and the arts. So, any questions?
Do you foresee students attending school, coming in, going to the classrooms 4 periods a day, for instance, and then taking 2 periods of other things from the online stuff that aren't available in the...
Right. It's a good question. The way that it works is students have to, if they're hybrid, they have to take 5 courses on campus to be accounted for, the ADA to be accounted for in that way. So it's either we have to account for 5 classes in the online environment or 5 classes in the face-to-face environment. And then they can mix whatever else they want. So if there's a kid who's taking completely online, but I want to be in band, I can take all of my classes online and just come for band. We actually have a student who's going to be a senior next year approach us and say, look, I only want to take law and society next year. I want to take everything else online. And they asked, I'm just going to go to an online school, but can I come to your school for 1 period? And we said, you can't do that. But if this opportunity is available, through our own district, would you be interested? And they said, absolutely, I'm all about that. And the law and society class, if you don't know, is our mock trial team. And so, there are kids who want to do that. They would rather be... A lot of it is, sometimes kids grow up a little faster than others and they don't want to be part of some of the drama that happens at the high school level, and they want to just be elsewhere and just come to the classes that they prefer to be in and participate in the sports. That same student wants to be on the swim team as well. And it was a hard no for the swim team because there are CIF state rules that prevent students who are not full-time students in your district to participate in sporting activities. And so those are some of those things that are difficult for students. The other thing I think about is we're really building our CTE programs in the district. And we're very soon going to be engaging students in internship opportunities. And many of those, because of our location, many of those internship opportunities are going to be an hour away. And so for a student, their senior year, who's a biomed student who wants to go wherever it is in the Bay Area to do their internship or engineering, they're going to need to have a couple of periods off at the end of the day or, most of the day. So it would benefit them to be an online student, just come to campus for the things that they need, and then be at their internship. Work experience is another one. Community service is another opportunity for students. So it provides huge flexibility for students in their schedules.
So I think it's fabulous that we would be able to offer our students so many different options to meet their needs, because, you know, we have the round holes, and not all of our students are round holes.
Right.
We have some square pegs, and they don't fit in those. So, and you know, I came from a district where there was a variety of options for students. That said, I do have a bunch of questions.
Sure.
Okay, so one that just came up, you said something about students coming in from other districts. That would be down the line if we did have a school, but that's in here, in the fully online program, that they can transfer in from the contiguous counties.
Right.
So that could be now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I had a question, can I just piggyback on
Sure.
that? If we can only have 10% of the students in this program, do students living in Mountain House get priority?
I would say they would, yeah.
Because it'd be a shame to have a student who lives here not have that opportunity because someone's transferred in.
And I would think it would be similar to, you know, any of our
Interdistrict
IDAs,
process,
right? Like if
yeah.
there's no room in a
Right.
third grade class, I'm not going to allow you to transfer into, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay. So, under credit recovery,
Yeah.
some students could be credit deficient due to a variety of reasons.
Yes.
Okay? The wording in some of the sections in the credit recovery one make it seem as if all program participants are discipline problems.
Really.
Yeah, that's just the wording, that's the way I took it.
Can I-
don't know, I could.
Can I provide an example of that?
Well, I have
on-
an example. I
okay.
wonder if it's the same as mine, i.e. travel as a group to lunch. That tells me these are students that have to be watched. They have to go together because maybe we can't trust them. Maybe there are some that we can't trust. But, you know, if there's a family tragedy, variety of reasons why kids fall apart in school and become credit deficient. What was yours?
On 270, the third bullet point says 100% will participate in weekly character education. And I'm like, if they're struggling academically, their problem is not, you know, character, you know, they just, you know, like we're offering it, but we make it seem like all of it is,
Well, I saw that, but that didn't resonate as much with me because part of character education could be the responsibility of gaining these credits so you can graduate from high school. It's not all like the pillars that we see at the elementary schools.
yeah, but if they're struggling, I mean, if they're trying and struggling, they're still credit deficient, even though they're trying, and they just
So-
need additional help.
Part of, and if I may, the first of all students at Mountain House High School get a weekly character education lesson during advisory, right? That's part of our curriculum, and so that's just pointing out those students too will be receiving character education. The other thing is those afternoon courses, after they do online stuff, basically the majority of the day. The end of the school day, they're participating in curriculum that will get that character education isn't just a fluff class. They're actually getting elective credit because they're so credit deficient. They just need regular old elective credits. And so character education is one of those things. Our school resource deputy comes in and teaches that on a regular basis. Our counselor comes in and helps to teach that. Joni Hellstrom, our vice principal who has a counseling background, goes in and teaches that. The alt-ed teacher herself teaches that. So it's not necessarily unique to just them. We're just spelling out that in the program, as part of your elective credits, it's going to include character education. So that's like digital citizenship, that's, you know, anti-bullying, that's any of the things that we are teaching in advisory on a weekly basis gets put forward in that elective period on a daily basis.
So before we finalize this, if you could just reread it through a different lens. I might be the only one that read it that way. I don't know, but that just kind of resonated with me. Also in the credit recovery program, what happens to the student that doesn't perform well in online classes? I'm concerned that all the classes except math and foreign language are online, and this is our credit recovery. What if it's not the right vehicle for that particular student?
So students are actually, so the content is all online, and for the most part, most of the students are literally ripping through the curriculum. We had one student complete 84 credits by the end of the first quarter, and basically finished his senior year, half of his junior year and all of his senior year. So most of the kids are running through it pretty quickly. The other thing is we do have teachers on staff where, especially for the math, where kids are going to the teacher when they have concerns or questions. So the alt-ed teacher's in the room facilitating an environment where they can get the work done, and then when they're not getting the work done or they get stuck, they get sent to the social studies teacher or the science teacher or whoever it is for one-on-one instruction. And in that, and we've been doing it this year, and it's in the plan that those teachers are paid on an hourly basis according to the work that they're doing with those kids. So the content is online, the instruction isn't necessarily all online. Because if the kids are stuck and they're not resonating well with that, they're going to get instruction from actual teachers who are using the online content as the vehicle to present.
Okay, because I know, our kids have grown up in a digital world, and they're used to this, but there's going to be that kid that this doesn't work for.
Right.
Is sitting in front of a machine and reading and interacting with whatever. I've never taken an online class because I'm one of those kids.
Right.
But we're going to run into those kids, so having that backup makes me feel a lot better.
If the kids are running through the courses that fast, are they learning anything?
So you have to remember that all these kids have at least had, for the most part, many of them have already been exposed to this. This is credit recovery. And so what's happening is a lot of these credit recovery courses are actually competency-based. And so they take a pretest, and if they pretest all the way through Unit 4, they don't do Units 1, 2, and 3. They've already mastered that content, and then they're learning. So, and the other question is, are they really learning anything? These are UC-approved courses. These are UC A to G approved courses that the students are working through. So I would say yes, the UC said they are.
And there's a post-assessment.
Yes,
Yeah.
The UC is very detailed about how you get your course approved. There has to be valid assessment, there has to be valid instruction, and so, yes, I would say they are absolutely learning, otherwise there's no way they're passing these classes.
So then a lot of this is reteach, but only reteaching what needs to be retaught.
Correct. They're not rehashing, which is what alt-ed kids want. Like, don't teach me something I already know, right?
Yeah, or
I'm
that's
bored with
irrelevant.
what you're teaching me because I already know that stuff. Please don't make me do it. And we don't.
And they don't want to do the 3-week group project that's going
No.
to be a big presentation in the class. It's just different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you should come see that class. I mean, quite honestly, it's amazing the different feeling that those kids have. We've had a couple of kids who were caught up in a lot of the drama of school previously, who are now in that class and thriving. They're like, oh my gosh, I can work through my whole class in a couple of weeks. I'm out of here. I'm done. People who have literally said, you know what, I was just caught up in it all. And now that I'm not in that environment, I'm a smart person. I'm going to get through this. And there's some kids who, they get out at 1:30 every day. We have one student who has a job. She works from 2 o'clock in the afternoon on, and they're taking other opportunities to advance their skills elsewhere and moving on in life.
Well, I do want to go on the record and say that I do think that offering the online and the hybrid pathway does open a lot of doors. I know my own daughter really struggled in the Tracy high school system and took online courses 1 year of high school, and it really sort of set her on the right path. And those online courses have prepared her for a lot of the courses she's taking in college, some of which are offered online. So she knows how to handle the online coursework that is offered at the college level now that she's done this. So there are some advantages to it for our students.
Yeah, and I'd like, this is called an alternative education plan for a purpose. Like you said, the typical traditional high school is not for everybody. And neither is the online. There's a lot of people who are going to say, "Oh, that's so stupid. Nobody should do that." Well, I don't ascribe to that. Not nobody. Some people like it, their education this way. It's where a lot of things are going, actually, where kids can, on their own time, on their own terms, come to the education and do the work and get it done. They're all smart kids in their own way, and this is just the way that they prefer.
And with the exception of credit recovery and summer school, these are by choice.
Right.
Yes.
It's not, yeah.
The two in the middle are choice opportunities. They're not, we're forcing you into this.
Right.
Yeah.
So in the online and hybrid, it said that they would check in, they would have regular check-ins with their case manager. What do you foresee regular being?
It's every 4 weeks.
Wasn't definitive enough for me.
Yeah, it's every 4 weeks. And, this has to do with the independent study board policy that's going to be coming forward to kind of flesh out some of this. We've looked through some board policies, and most of the board policies also are very general. And even the administrative regulations are general to say on a regular basis, and leaves it up to the administrative team to decide how long should that be. And it's going to be different. For example, if we go all the way back into the K-8, your time between meeting a teacher is going to be much shorter in a second grader doing online work than it is for a high school kid doing online work. Joni Hellstrom, our vice principal, came to us from Venture Academy in Stockton, and they're they have an online and a face-to-face program. But in their online program, it was 4 weeks. So every 4 weeks you met back up, you had to provide work samples, you had to prove that you were doing work. The other good thing is that even though you're only meeting once every 4 weeks, with an online coursework, it's not like the kid's taking paper home and doing the packets and then coming and going, oops, I didn't do my packet. That coordinator can at any one given time on a daily basis say, Johnny's not done his work in 3 days. I'm calling Johnny's mom. Johnny's not doing his work, and he's going to get kicked out of the online program because he hasn't done any work in the last 3 days. I should have seen him on there for 5 hours today. So it's that kind of thing, and that's the benefit. We already have a coordinator of alternative education. It's expanding that alternative education coordinator's job and responsibilities, which would likely necessitate an additional teacher for the alternative ed classroom now to move that coordinator into an actual coordinating position.
So my next question, I think you just addressed it a little bit. The work completion, if they don't complete the work in their contract, they're dropped. So that means they go back
to the face-to-face program.
The traditional program. Yep. Okay. In the online learning aptitude section where there were the questions, it said something, are you willing and able to dedicate 4 to 5 hours for class? Shouldn't it be each class?
Each class, yes.
Yeah, each is missing.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And sorry, this is the 6th grade teacher in me. Then when it said 4 to 5, 4 was written in letters and 5 was numeric.
Okay.
Sorry, always a 6th grade teacher. Okay. On the application section, something's missing at the bottom. It ends.
Where?
I don't know. I read this really late at night. I'll email you if I find it, okay?
Well, and if you're interested to, Noel, if you could click on that link.
Here's a comparison, so it may tell us where it is. In the end of the online or hybrid program, under the application and acceptance, it looks like they're exactly the same. I have to find it, I'm sorry.
Oh, in the actual document itself?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, my iPad's not cooperating. Let me see if I can find this.
And what's this that was
So
supposed to-
what's showing right here is, this is the actual master agreement. After they've done the self-assessment, they've had a meeting. This is the agreement and the master agreement that the parent and the student would sign and what they agree to. So, I mean, it's pretty detailed. They sign off on it. They talk about this is actually part of the accounting process. And to your question earlier of, they get dropped from the online program if they don't do the work. The reason is because if they don't do the work, we cannot claim ADA. Because it's no longer seat time, we're not taking attendance for these students. We claim ADA through the paperwork process, and if they don't complete that work, then that's why we will exit them from the program.
I'm going to reread the whole thing and email you what that was.
Okay.
So one of the things that's in here, and you mentioned in your presentation, that the teacher course loads, student load, can be higher. Has this been negotiated with LTA?
There are no student maximums
Okay.
at the high school. It's only the elementary school level. Most districts don't have a maximum at the high school level, and we don't. And it's very typical for online programs to have a higher maximum of students anyway.
Okay. Next piece, on to summer school.
Sure.
I firmly disagree. This is not for you, this is for district. Firmly disagree with charging LUSD students for summer school. Firmly, firmly. I understand we don't get state funding. I know the whole argument, but
We don't charge, it's a requested contribution. We can't charge people.
okay. I still don't like it, but okay. As long as it's worded. I know you can charge the kids from out of district.
We ask for the contribution. We say, you know, this is something that comes out of the general fund. We'd like to continue offering summer school each year. We would appreciate a $50 donation per course that your child takes during the summer. You know, it's obviously up to the board whether to do that or not. The thought is the kid failed the class previously. We're offering this opportunity that we don't have to and may not be able to if we don't have the funding for it. And quite frankly, not very many people make the contribution anyway. I think last year we got maybe 20.
Okay. So you're not seeing the families
we make the
hesitant to send the kid and not.
We make the request at the beginning.
Okay.
And don't ask for it again.
All right.
Literally, we do. It's asked for on the application, and that's it. And most people ignore it.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
I like the late start time of summer school and the credit recovery. That
We've
works
had
for
success
teenagers.
with that.
Yeah. Yeah. This may assist in getting students to attend and gives the teachers a break for summer school from their regular year schedule. You know, a lot of teachers don't want to sign up for summer school because I want to sleep late a little bit, so they can. So I like that.
Yeah.
On page 290, this was the very last one. It says in the box, and the online hybrid teachers past the 40 students that are facilitated by the coordinator. Does that mean beyond the 40 students?
Beyond.
Okay, I was just, the word threw me. I thought maybe it was beyond. Okay, sorry about that.
I actually had the same question, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Am I making this up? I couldn't find it when I went back. Somewhere in this document, it said something about a normal schedule. So it made it seem to me that the schedule that the document was talking about is abnormal.
Okay. The typical schedule.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't. We'll have to look through.
Am I oozing elementary?
No. We'll search the document for the word normal and make sure that it gets changed to typical.
Mr. President, I have made it through all of my notes. Thank you for indulging me.
Can I ask a couple questions?
Certainly.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Your turn.
Early on, you made reference, and I don't know if I misunderstood. So is there an outside vendor that helps with the content for the online course? Okay.
That's correct.
And I'm looking for the fee for that. Is that contained in this document?
That's something that the district invested in its Compass Learning High School.
So it's already included?
It's already in a budget somewhere.
Okay.
It's something we already own.
Okay. And then, not to get into the weeds, so you have teachers that are dedicated to monitoring the students, but the content of the studies actually comes through Compass?
That's
Is that right?
correct.
Okay. And then, I just feel the need to state that while I understand, square peg, round hole, I get all that. My concern is that this is a double-edged sword, that we're going to have students that go through high school that cannot maintain a conversation with a person because they never have to. It's a concern that I have in the industry that I work in. I'm seeing an influx of new professionals in the working world that cannot make eye contact, that avoid having a conversation because they just don't have any people skills. And I'm worried that a fully online program will continue to contribute to that. So just something to consider.
Speaking to that point, I believe that that's one of the strengths in this, is that the students have to come to class, have to meet with their teachers, and also are afforded the opportunity to be in the band, play football, go to a high school dance, all the social things that kids miss out on when they're either homeschooled or online things. And I think that's the strength of this.
And I think that that's something that we can, communicate to our coordinator, that when the coordinator meets regularly with these students, that they apprise them of the opportunities that they have. Look, this is happening. The winter formal's coming up. Come to the football game, those kinds of things, and just letting them know on a regular basis. And they'll be in contact with them, obviously, electronically on an ongoing basis. And they'll have an email from our district, so we can send them regular emails, come on out. And we can even, the coordinator can engage in making sure kids have a place in that program. Like, there's a online student tailgate before the next game, or, there's all kinds of ways that our coordinator can be involved in making sure that that social emotional aspect, because I agree, that's definitely an issue with students who tend to want to pull back from life and sit at home on all of that. And, we can also encourage students to say, look, you should maybe take 1 or 2 classes over your 4-year plan that are on campus. You can't, we don't really want you to just everything online. Why don't you come in for, your health class?
Appreciate seeing something like just the encouragement piece of it included in this. And, I really would appreciate that.
Yeah.
I share Trustee Balzerini's fear that kids are going to grow up without the ability to look somebody in the eye and have a conversation. But unfortunately, there are online schools and online courses and all these things that have no face-to-face component that our kids can opt into, or their families can opt into. And that's what I think is great about this, is they have the opportunity to do a lot online if that's their choice or their family's choice.
And if they don't come to us, they're going to find it elsewhere.
Right.
They will. And that's the thing, is they will find what they want elsewhere because it's there.
Absolutely. And lastly, I would just like to say, I appreciate the outside-the-box thinking as usual, and any way that we can take kids away from charter schools and get our $88 back, bravo.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Can I
I
ask
appreciate
one
that.
question real quick? So if students, as you mentioned, they would have to take 5 online, are they eligible to take more than 2 courses at the high school if they wanted to?
If they can handle it, absolutely. And a lot of students can. So if you're an online student, you're taking at least 5 courses online and you want to take 4 at the school, and it's a lot of work. But if there are all 4 classes that are like, I'm going to take band and art and things that are really, I'm passionate about and aren't work to me. For some people, those classes are work, but for other people, that's not work, that's fun. So absolutely, there's the opportunity, and it would be left up to the coordinator to work with that student and ensure, look, are you really signing up for too much? Or there are some students who are just academically motivated to get through sooner.
In the salaries section on the financial impact, so is the teacher salary amount based on our hourly amount?
You're talking about the full-time teacher salary?
No, I'm sorry, summer school teacher, it says $3,800.
So
Is that based on our hourly rate? Is that how we pay our summer school teachers?
Yes.
So
the summer school program isn't new. That's the summer school and the alternative ed, the credit recovery program. Those are already approved things.
I probably forgot to ask these questions last time.
Probably. So I think so. I think that we did some sort of calculation of how
curious.
many hours they were working over the summer and whatnot.
And the financial impact assumes, when I read it, the sense that I got was the financial impact assumes essentially that everybody in this program essentially is cannibalized off of current enroll. Like, no, you didn't factor in an ADA increase because we pulled some people back
No.
into the district.
I didn't do that. I mean, obviously that might happen, but I'm not going to plan for that until it actually does. You need to be conservative with the way that we account for those dollars, and it would be better to come out ahead than it would to predict something that might not happen.
I agree. One of the training classes that I went to, though, at CSBA was Simi Valley, and they had, significantly declining enrollment. And when they started looking at the reasons why people were leaving, online, homeschool, this and that and the other thing, and they started providing programs, they ended up with a net surplus. I mean, they did the financial analysis and ended up with a net surplus for the programs that they offered. And they went, from declining enrollment to actually increasing enrollment before the economy turned. So.
Well, and I just went to a digital leadership conference in the Bay Area at Stanford University, and there were people from industry, people who are, from the education industry, from the tech industry, and then educators like myself. And it's a think tank that put the conference together, and all of the research is showing that this is the way education is going. And like you said, if we do not offer it, people will find it elsewhere, and we will continue. Even though we're this district that's growing and growing, ultimately, people are going to start going, wait a minute, there's a market out here for this. I don't have to choose the public school. My kid can still stay in the community and be educated without ever stepping into one of those schools. It behooves us very soon to start offering this, or people will go elsewhere to get it. And the sooner we get in on it, the more comfortable we're going to be with it, and people are going to have to come to us and say, how are you doing that? Because we need, our kids are leaving for you.
Because we're addressing the same problem 3 years later.
Exactly, yeah. And I don't want to be in the position where we as a district are going, what's going on?
Yeah.
And, I know that there's been a request to find out what's going on with our students. You're probably going to see that that's what's happening.
Yeah.
People are going to charter schools
So these
and online
two
schools.
issues kind of go hand in
They're
hand.
hand in hand. You're
Yeah.
going to see that because most of these kids are not moving back to the Bay Area.
Right.
They're literally going to online schools and charter schools in the area because they have a choice.
So like Trustee Belzerini said, this shows the out-of-the-box thinking that we expect from you. And I think this is fabulous to be offering the options. I've never seen options laid out like this. It's either traditional or online. And I love that hybrid in the middle. I'm hoping that we can really reach out and meet the needs of our square pegs. And some of them are triangles.
Yep.
So.
I'm sorry, one last question. So just to confirm that with the addition of this program, it's going to add one coordinator and one or two teachers, is that
So
correct?
the coordinators are already in place.
Okay.
It's likely to add a teacher at this point to take over the credit recovery program so that the coordinator can take over managing all aspects of the alternative education program. So they'll oversee the credit recovery teacher who's in the classroom, but they will be the manager of all of the students in the program and the one meeting with the students on a regular basis until the program grows. And then we'd obviously, as it grows, more teachers would be hired or just recruited from within the ranks.
Very good, thank you.
Further questions from the board?
I think I've grilled them enough.
I don't have any questions. I'd just like to say thank you for the presentation, and to echo the sentiments of my fellow board members, thank you for continually trying to expand our ability to teach our students the way they want to be taught and the way they can learn, because that's the trick, is getting kids to learn in the way that's most comfortable for them.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ben.
Moving on, calendar. There is a list of upcoming events, wellness committee meeting, winter break, Christmas holiday, and so on. They're all included in the agenda. And I think that's it.
I will move to adjourn to closed session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're now adjourning to closed session. Thank you very much.